Flinthook stars a savvy young pirate of the same name looking to take on the nefarious Cluster Clan. Past this somewhat simple premise, Flinthook is a roguelike very similar in the vein of Rogue Legacy in that it emphasizes platforming. The game is represented through a series of bounties, the first of which is Billy Bullseye. In order to reach his ship, your compass, which has a blob inside of it, must eat 3 ghost gems before figuring out his location. Players can choose one of 3 ships to dive into, all randomly generated. At the end of each there will be a ghost gem guarded by a sub-boss. Aside from the general randomization, ships also have traits such as high amounts of enemies, food, treasure, and so forth. If you die before defeating the bounty, then you have to start all over again. Such is the life of a roguelike. However, progression does carry over somewhat. A number of factors such as gold collected and enemies defeated determine how much experience you gain after a run. Gaining levels doesn't net you better stats, but it does unlock new perk cards and items in the shop. Perks can be allocated before venturing out on a bounty and can range from increasing your health to boosting the actual experience gained. Each card takes up a number of slots, and these slots can be expanded via the black market, which offers permanent upgrades. These upgrades can be traded for rare gems gathered at the end of each stage. There are also shops aboard ships as well that offer temporary boosts or health items. While it may be disheartening to die, at the very least there is a sense of progression here, which is exactly why I love Rogue Legacy so much, and why I get the same feeling from Flinthook here. Speaking of our intrepid pirate, he's armed to the teeth with gear, but his most iconic piece is his anchor grappling hook that allows him to zip around environments as well as break down enemy shields. Whenever a new game comes out touting any sort of grappling function, I'm always weary because the controls can be finicky. Thankfully, Flinthook nails its physics perfectly, melding the grappling and jumping segments to feel exhilarating. You also have a trusty pistol to blast away enemies, and a special belt buckle that can slow down time. Combining all 3 of these skills will make combat and the platforming itself feel more engaging, although it does take time to learn the ropes. This in itself is another form of progression, as I generally felt myself getting better the more I played. Luck has a bit to do with it as well, and some runs will obviously be better than others. Pixel art has been done to death in video games, and while there is a sense of fatigue from the industry, this game at least stands out. The colors are bright, vibrant, and cheery, and the overall design of the game is fantastic. From Flinthook to his enemies, everything is uniquely bizarre without coming off too strong. Music, on the other hand, is a bit hit or miss with me. It fits the game's retro aesthetic, but a lot of the tracks feel like they're playing it too safe without feeling as unique as the game it represents, if that makes sense. Flinthook is a rare game that has problems, but ones that never dampen my experience. It offers a cross-save function but no Vita port, which would have made the addiction of playing just one more run even more so. The lack of a melee weapon in the face of swooping too close to an enemy was troublesome. A few other tiny issues come to mind, but again, none of them made me feel uneasy. To me, that's the surefire sign of an absolutely incredible video game, one of which that will stand the test of time and remain on my console and mind all year round. After Breath of the Wild released, I didn't think another video game would come out that would affect me so positively, and lo and behold, this tiny little indie gem came along. So, comparing those 2 games side by side is, I think, the greatest compliment of all. Did you know that was a ReActionExaminer video? If you liked it, you should subscribe to me to keep up with everything that I'm doing. Also, if you have some other interests, like sex for example, check out Tomops, which is a comedy sex podcast thing wherein my best friend and I check out the weird and abnormal and the erotic. And of course you should support me on Patreon because hey, I want to make the channel better and I want your help to do so. Plus, if you want to check out my writing, check out Game Jerk, where I have archives and new stuff for all projects, okay? You can find all the stuff and more in the description with the links below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.